Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, it is another exciting day here on the homestead as we get one step closer to moving from our homestead property to our farm property.
Now we have made some big strides moving things from one place to another. We shared with you last week that all of our animals are now at the farm property. We're getting close to having the house delivered, but not quite yet. This video is a big video. We are going to be moving our 3 portable buildings from the homestead to the farm property.
Right. A lot of you have been asking specifically what we're going to do with the building behind us. This is the building that you guys named the Sprout House several years ago. It's where we start all of our seedlings in the spring for the farmers market. But we also have several other portable buildings here on the homestead, and we've decided to move those as well.
We had considered leaving them here, maybe taking just the Sprout House, but we looked into what it would cost for us to replace them if we needed them at the farm property. And you guys, in the time since we purchased those 3 buildings, the cost of these portable buildings have doubled.
Right.
So we decided that it makes more sense for us to take them with us and utilize them in the same way we've been using them here, but we'll also need them down there.
Right. So we found a company that actually comes out and moves these portable buildings. They're coming in just a day or so, so we've been hard at work getting all of them emptied out because they need to be completely empty in order to move. So we thought today we would start this video by going around showing you the buildings, and then we'll show you when they actually come to move them, and then we'll show you where they're going to be down at the farm property. So let's start behind us in the Sprout House. Let's take a walk inside.
Well, you guys, Kevin and I have spent so many hours in this Sprout House planting seeds, transplanting the tiny seedlings to bigger pots. It's got some great memories in it, and we are excited to be bringing this from here to the farm property.
Now, when we originally put this little building here on the homestead, we put it here as a guest cabin. For a long time, we had this set up with a bed in here. We actually built a little bathroom back there with a composting toilet. And we had it set up for our guests to stay in. And it actually worked out pretty well. Except most of our guests, well, my parents when they would come to visit, but now they live here. And then Sarah's parents when they would come to visit. Most of our guests are older. And it really just didn't work out well not having them right in the house with us. So ultimately we decided, instead of having this building as a guest cabin where it was only getting used maybe a week or 2 out of the entire year, it made more sense to use it for something that we would get a lot of use out of, like the Sprout House.
Another nice thing is that when we move the Sprout House to the farm property, it's going to be placed really close to the greenhouse.
Right.
Here on the homestead, because we weren't planning to use this as a Sprout House, and actually at the time that we put this here, we had no idea we were going to have greenhouses here at all. So right now the Sprout House is quite a distance from the greenhouse, which has made it tricky transporting things back and forth.
Right.
So it's just going to make a lot more sense. The location of it at the farm property, the kind of flow, the workflow will be it'll make a lot more sense.
Right. So we're excited to show you guys that when they come and move it. We've got 2 other buildings that we're going to move as well, so let's take a little walk around the homestead and we'll show you those as well. Now, this next building is one that you guys really haven't seen a whole lot. We don't show it much on video because it's really just a storage building for personal belongings and other things that we don't really have a place for here on the homestead.
I think we've done a video or 2 in front of it, and we had some pictures taken in front of it.
Right.
But Kevin's right, we don't really show it very much. You guys, we got this building to fulfill an immediate need when we moved here.
Right.
We brought so much stuff from Arizona. We now know that we brought too much stuff. And
yeah, especially now that we had to pack it all up again, and there was still stuff in boxes from Arizona that we've never used since we've been here.
Yeah, so we needed a place for it. That's why we brought this storage building onto the property. I'll just let you know that as I was packing up this building to move to the farm property, I took 4 SUV loads of stuff to the thrift store and donated it.
So we're not going to make the same mistake again.
No, exactly.
So ultimately we decided to move this down to the farm because even though we put up that big new building last year, we really didn't want that to end up being a storage building. We put that up to be a shop and for equipment, but we really didn't want that to end up just being a storage building and filled up kind of with junk, because we want that to be able to be still used for what we put it up for, which is be able to do projects over the winter indoors, be able to do maintenance on the equipment in the winter and things like that. So we didn't want to just put a bunch of stuff in that building. We want it just to remain pretty open, and so we're taking this building because this building will be just a storage building. So let's walk inside for just a minute. So this is the biggest of the 3 buildings that we're going to be taking. This one is 14 by 32 feet, so it's a pretty good sized building. Like I said, it has been really, really nice to have this for storage. You can see that we have these nice shelves in here. We put these in several years ago. Funny story about these shelves is that these shelves we actually picked up at an auction at Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company. So these used to be the shelves that were in their warehouse, and we were able to get these and bring these home and put them in here. So they've worked out really well. We got them at a great price. I'm sure that was before lumber went ridiculously priced, or we wouldn't have got them at such a good deal. But they've worked out well, and so this building will be moved. We have a good spot for it, and it's going to be great extra storage for us.
Well, the last of the 3 of our storage buildings is behind us. This one here is a 12 by 24 foot building. You guys have seen the inside of this one because this is where our freeze dryer is. But now once we move into the house, we're actually going to be having our freeze dryer inside the house. So we will be repurposing this building.
Right. And we do have a plan for it, but let's walk inside and we'll kind of share that with you inside.
Well, this is the inside of this barn. You guys have seen our freeze dryer here, but I just want to show you that this is a lofted barn up here that provides quite a bit of extra storage. You know, there are pros and cons to these lofted storage barns. Overall, we like them not lofted, but in this case, we really did enjoy having the extra storage up here. Sometimes it kind of seems a little bit claustrophobic to have these up here, but in this case, it worked really well for us. So we have been waiting until the very last minute to kind of decommission the freeze dryer and pack it up and move it. I have been wanting to use this as much as possible right up until the end, because once we take this out of here, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks probably before I'll be able to use it again. That's how long it's going to take for the house to be completely finished enough for us to move in and start using it again. But once we have this set back up in the house, I'm really excited to have it be like a little bit more accessible for me. I'm going to be walking by it a bunch so I can check on it. I'll know exactly when it's finished, or if I need to extend the time, the drying time. And I think that the timing is going to be really great for me because in the winter, like the January time frame, I love to freeze dry meals like leftovers from soups and stews, chili, broth, and get those done throughout the winter so that during the growing season it's free for me to be freeze drying the ingredients that are coming out of the garden. So over the winter, you guys will see me bring this back out and start doing more videos about freeze drying. Now, before we put this away, I've had this open so that it dries. You can see there's condensation here from our last go round. I wanted to tell you that something very exciting is happening with Harvest Right in the month of October. For the first time ever, they're offering a coupon code, and it's only good for the month of October. I've had a lot of people reach out to us and ask for the discount code, and guess what? There hasn't been a discount code before. So for the month of October, you can get $100 off of your freeze dryer with the code LT100. So Living Traditions 100, LT100. Just for the month of October in the year of 2022, The link that you use to get your Harvest Right freeze dryer is in the description section of this video. So just click on the link, and then when you go to your checkout, you'll be able to put in LT100 for $100 off. Okay, so that's enough about the freeze dryer. The other half of this building, we have big plans for at the farm property.
Now, we showed you guys in a recent video that down at the farm property, we really don't have a good solution for brooding baby chicks, turkeys, whatever we want to brood. Here at the homestead property, we had one section of a barn that we always used as a brooder. But at the farm, we just don't have that. So we have decided that this half of this building is going to be our new brooder down at the farm property. We're excited about that. I think it's going to work out really well. It's going to be quite a project, I think, to get ready. But I think it's going to work really well. Now, plans can change, but in my head right now, the plan is pretty much to put down probably vinyl flooring in this half to really be able to protect the wood from, droppings and things like that. And then we'll probably build either a partial wall or maybe even wall this off completely and make this kind of a separate room so that we can just have baby chicks in here and really be able to, brood things nicely. There will be a window that we can open for ventilation. So I think it's going to work out really well. That's going to be the plan for this. We'll show you guys that as we start to work on it. But I'm excited because originally we didn't know what we were going to do down there. And if we didn't take this building with us, I still don't know what we would do. So I really think this building is going to be nice to have at the farm for that purpose. So we just have a few last minute things to get ready, to get these buildings ready to move, like packing up the freeze dryer and a couple other odds and ends. But the next thing that you guys are going to see is in just a few days when they come to actually move these buildings down to the farm. It's going to be a few days in reality, but for you guys, it's going to happen right about now. Well, all the buildings are moved. Everything went smoothly for the most part. Those guys are pretty skilled at getting those buildings out. I was very impressed.
From the time that they arrived to the time that they finished, you guys, it was only about 4 hours it
Right.
took them to load up all 3 buildings, deliver them in the right places, shimmy them into exactly where we wanted them, and to level them and to support them with blocks underneath. It was really pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice having these buildings here. We already told you guys kind of what the purpose of each building is going to be, but it is going to be really nice having them. Now, it may look a little strange, and you may be wondering why we decided to put these two so close to each other. You guys know that we're planners, we think about things, so there is a reason as to why we did that, instead of kind of centering this one here in between the other 2 buildings.
And really, well, let's kind of walk over there. The main reason why we didn't want to separate these buildings anymore is because this view behind us, we will be able to see from the house.
Right.
And
When
just
we
from
put a front porch on the house,
right.
This is going to be one of the things we can look out and get this view.
Right, so we wanted the buildings to be closer together so that we could still enjoy this view.
Right. So even though it may look a little strange to have them close together, over time we'll get used to how it looks and we'll still have this great view. And then you guys, the sprout house, look how close the sprout house is now to the greenhouse.
Like we said back at the homestead, it's going to be so nice to have the sprout house close to the greenhouse so that when we're taking plants and trays back and forth, they're just really close to each other. And you guys, we have realized too that the view from the front porch of the sprout house is amazing.
Right.
I cannot wait to have coffee out there when I'm getting ready to start my day in the sprout house, or just to kind of relax there. Right now, it's afternoon. It has some nice shade on the front porch. It's going to be a fun place just to hang out and watch the animals and just look at the scenery. It's going to be beautiful.
Well, it sure is a good feeling to have these buildings down here and to be one step closer to actually having this property be our homestead property. You know, once we move down here, we're done calling this the farm property. This will be our homestead because this is where we will officially be living.
Now, the next big exciting step is for our house to be delivered and put on the foundation. We cannot wait for that. We feel like we've been waiting forever.
Right. It's actually supposed to be tomorrow.
The delivery of the house.
The delivery is tomorrow. Actually, by the time you guys see this video, the house should be here on the homestead.
But then 2 days after that is when the crane will arrive and the 2 separate house pieces will be placed on the foundation.
Right. So it is a jam-packed week here on the homestead. We are so glad that you guys are along to be part of this with us. We do feel like over the last 6 years, you guys really have become part of our family, and we're excited that you're here to enjoy this process with us.
You guys, if you're enjoying our videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below if you're not already subscribed. And remember that the best way that you can help us here on the homestead is just to share our videos on your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.
God bless.